Here is my review for Kamisama no Inai Nichiyoubi Episode 1 First Impressions. So, let's get into this. So before I dive right in, let me give you some history on this series here. Basically, this started off as a Japanese light novel series written by Inai Nichiyoubi with illustrations by Shino. This also has a manga adaptation to it, also a drama CD as well. The animation is done by Madhouse. The music is by Hiromi Mizutani and directed by Yuji Kumizawa. And there's only going to be 12 episodes to this series. Alright, so with all that said and done, let's get into the story. So the story is pretty interesting, actually. So basically, God abandoned the world. And when God abandoned the world, that made it to where people or humans were no longer able to reproduce, and they were unable to die as well. So even if their heart stopped or their flesh was starting to rot, they still won't actually die. So that's the premise of what's going on. But this show follows this girl named Ai, and Ai is a gravekeeper. What gravekeepers are people that are able to give a peaceful slumber to these dead people. That if they go into this grave and she digs them and buries them, they can actually rest in peace. They can actually die. So with all that happening, this girl basically gets told a story from her mother. Her mother ended up passing away. And with her father, his name is Humphrey Humbart, and apparently her mother told her all this stuff and everything like that, which later will get brought back up because later in this episode we have this guy coming by also named Humphrey Humbart. So she assumed basically that, oh, that's my father. And well, the problem is, one, it's like he looks quite young, so it seems kind of impossible for that to happen. But hey, it's anime, you never know. You never know. But basically, Humphrey Humbart is not actual. Like, it's not an actual name. It's a name from a story, basically, and it meant like some kind of toy or something like that. I can't remember exactly the phrase or what the name actually means. But nonetheless, it's just a name that can be used for anybody, really, if someone wants to use it. And with this guy comes into this village that she's in, and oh yeah, by the way, Ai is basically adopted. She got two new parents because like I said, her father's gone and her mother's dead, so of course someone else is taking care of her. And with that, this guy comes in and basically just wipes out the entire village. And it's kind of weird because you're like, well, they can't die, so how can I wipe it out? Well, basically what he did was blow their brains. Basically, they're not like immortal. They're like zombies in a sense. You blow up their brains, they can't kind of do anything, which renders them useless, which means, I guess you can kind of say they're dead. So that's kind of how he did it, which is why they all just stopped moving. And she thought they all died, but he's like, no, they're not dead and stuff. And she was getting really mad about this. And then basically he starts giving her questions and start making her question herself. Because like, how can dad be Humphrey Humbart? It's just a fairy tale story. Like, how much is true? Are you even a gravekeeper? She, like, in this episode, she doubts everything about her, everything that she knows. And she's just kind of weirded out. Like, she don't know what to do at this point. Not to mention, since everyone's gone out of her village, she's all alone. And she's following this guy that murdered her entire freaking village. And at the end of this episode, we get to see this other actual gravekeeper. Like, she's supposedly actually a gravekeeper, because gravekeepers they don't have any type of emotions, apparently. And this girl don't really seem to have any type of emotions at all. So, yeah. But I mean, the thing is, even though she doubts herself as being a gravekeeper, within this episode, she had to dig up. She actually dug up, I think it was like 47 graves for all the people in the village. And it's like, that's kind of like, it's like foreshadowing. It was not good. Like, you shouldn't have done that. I don't know. It just felt like you kind of jinxed this to happen, which is weird, So the thing is, she actually buried the people and stuff, and like, I guess her soul actually seemed like it was coming out of the grave. I'm not sure, but it looked like it actually working. So she might still be actually a gravekeeper. Like, the guy is saying that she isn't, but hey, just because she has emotions, don't just write her off already. But let me get into the animation for this. The animation for this series is done by Madhouse. I'm a big Madhouse fan for animation. This show, though, isn't as good. The animation is not bad. It's practically standard animation for anime, but I don't know. Like, I was expecting it to be really good because Madhouse really does a very, very good job on animation. Look at Hunter x Hunter, for instance, because they do Madhouse does Hunter x Hunter. So I'm kind of surprised how the animation isn't as crisp as it should have been. Like, I felt like it could have been better, at least with Madhouse doing it. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, not bad animation. It's not bad. I can watch it. It's not bad. the music for this series. The music for the series is actually pretty good. I do like the opening and ending. The musical scores for this episode was actually pretty on point. It really had this dramatic feel to it because of how like certain scenes were being set up. So I like that. It really like kind of engaged us. And with this episode too, this was a good episode because I am very, very curious to what's gonna happen here. What is she gonna have to find out now? Since everything's like a lie to her, she needs to find out all these things. So I'm kind of curious to how she's gonna handle all this exactly. And she's only 12 years old, by the way. And I'm curious how this whole world with Gravekeepers are and everything. And I like the premise of the story. I like these characters so far. There's a good sense of mystery in this as well. So it did engage me and it did draw me in from the first episode. So this was pretty good actually. So with that being said, leave your comments below and tell me what you think of this episode here. Like this review and subscribe to my channel if you want to see some more seasonal reviews from me. And I'm gonna say this yet again: if you guys want me to review this, leave comments below. I'm curious what you guys' thoughts are on this. I might still make that video where you guys vote on what I should be reviewing for this summer 2013 anime. But yeah, so yeah, it's been the Breakmaster, and until then, people, break out.